So this is a follow-up video to my video on NGC and PCGS having too much power over us in the coin grading market. The inconsistency of the grades that these major coin graders put out, the solution of artificial intelligence to deal with this problem, and considering some alternative solutions to the problem other than artificial intelligence. Now, there's really three layers of inconsistency that the artificial intelligence program, as it's being described on Minstate Technologies, is going to bring to the marketplace. Number one is the reliance on the accuracy of the computers themselves. How accurate are the computer graders actually going to be? The second potential inaccuracy would be the photographs themselves, the quality of the photograph. And then the third layer of inconsistency in doing this is on the customer end. It's with the customer themselves. Now, I've already talked at length about the computers potentially not being accurate, or all the problems with accuracy or consistency with the computers. So all these variables have to come together where, the photograph has to be good enough. It doesn't say anything about the accuracy of the photograph and if the photograph truly depicts or represents the actual coin. Which could be another problem where the customer might not be honest. They might be trying to game the system, so they're going to show a coin to the computers, and if they're going to correspond via email before they even send the coin in and say, yeah, well, we think this coin is a higher grade, why don't you go ahead and send your coin in to us, we'll put it in one of our holders with a higher grade on it. They'll say sure, they'll send the coin in, they'll get the coin in hand, they'll look at it, and they'll say, man, this is not what we thought it was. The computer thinks it's an MS-64. We don't even think this is 62 all of a sudden. So then what do? You have the customer's coin in hand. You've already given them a soft promise on email of what they're going, what they can expect to receive, because you trusted in your software, you trusted in your computers to present an accurate grade. But the inaccuracy lies on the customer's end. That the customer wasn't honest and upfront with you about it. They're trying to game you. They're trying to pull a fast one on you to get higher grades on their stuff. So there's a situation where you try to use computer technology to replace human technology, replace the problems that we have in human grading today, and yet you fully trust in the computers to give the correct grade of the coin that you're expecting to receive, but the coin that you actually receive is not the coin that the computer graded. And so you're right back to the beginning. You're right back to where we are today, where now what are you going to do? You're going to have to grade the coin yourself. You're going to have to rely on human grading. You're going to have to look at the coin with your own eyes. You got the coin in hand, and you're going to have to arrive at actually what the grade really is. And if you're going to be able to do business with the customer at all, and if you're not, then you're going to have to send the coin back to him, or send the coins back to him, and that just creates inefficiency. It adds cost. At best, you will be able to do business with the customer. You're going to tell them, look, this isn't the grade that we thought it was. This is 2 grades less than I said you were going to get. The customer might go for that anyway. I say, yeah, we'll go ahead and just put it in a holder, whatever, and you'll do it, and you'll charge the customer for it, and it's not good business because the customer isn't going to be happy with what happened. You didn't let them game the system like they had intended to do. So good for you, I guess, for not letting one get pulled over on you, and bad on the customer for trying to game the system in a dishonest way. So there's never going to be a foolproof system. There's a lot of complications here. There's a lot of layers of inaccuracy or inconsistency here that's just inherently a part of grading. And I don't think you're going to escape. You're not going to be able to get away from it. The inconsistency that exists in the marketplace today with the graders that we have, such as it is, you're going to introduce new inconsistencies that are different than the inconsistencies we may have now, but they are still inconsistencies nevertheless. And it's never going to be 100%, and it's probably never going to be better than what we have now. For a smart and conscientious collector and smart and conscientious dealers who make an attempt to sell coins as accurately as they can, buy coins as accurately as they can, and get coins graded as accurately as we can. Regarding the inconsistency of photographs, to give a good example, I can take a single coin and take a quote-unquote good photograph of it. So in other words, I'm straight on. The lens of the camera is directly overhead of the coin. So the image of the coin is going to be a round circle. I'm not going to take the photograph at an angle where the outline of the coin starts to take an oval shape. That would totally botch the software of the artificial intelligence that it needs, in order to get the coin aligned properly. So it has to be a straight-on shot. So the shot will be straight on. The shot will be clear. It's going to be in very good focus. The photograph is going to be bright enough that you'll be able to see the details on the coin, the scratches and the scuffs and the railroad tracks and all the rest. But holding all of those things constant, or holding all of those things true, there's still a great deal of variance in the photographs that could be submitted. If I only have a single light source and I move the coin further away from that light source, I will decrease the luster in the photograph the greater and greater distance away from the light that I move the coin. So I can move the coin. If I just have a lamp, like let's just say I have a light sitting on my desk, and I put the coin down on my desk, I set the camera up to take a vertical shot straight down on the coin. If I pull that coin away a few feet further away from that light, there will be almost no luster there. The coin will look pretty ugly. There might be enough light still being put on the coin in order to submit it to the Mint-State Technologies, and it's going to be able to come up with a grade. But there's no way that computer is going to be able to tell from a photograph that I submit how good the luster is on the coin. As we know, luster is a big component of the grades that these coins receive. It's not going to be able to decipher whether or not it's the photograph that the luster looks so weak, or if it's just the coin itself, and the coin itself has weak luster. It's not going to be able to account for these types of inconsistencies. Now we can, and I'm sure people will, try to take the glamour shot. They're going to try to take the photograph that tries to make their coin look as beautiful as it can possibly get. I mean, those are the kinds of photographs, if you're going to sell coins online, those are the photographs that are going to get your sale. Those are the kinds of photographs that are going to allow you to get the most money for your coin. And, if somebody is submitting photos of a coin to you in order to get a grade, those are going to be the kinds of photographs that the person is going to try to do. They're going to try to make their coin look as smashing good as they possibly can, and that's going to be the photos that they submit to you. Are those going to be the most accurate images of the coin that could possibly be submitted? Maybe, but probably not. Now, if you were going to go and sell a coin, what you should probably do is just take an average image of the coin. You're not trying to make the coin look better than what it is. You're not trying to make the coin look worse than what it is. You're just trying to make the coin look that it is what it is. And, you can take a glamour shot. You can take a better image of your coin to make it look even better, but that's not the one that you're going to use in a listing when you go to sell your coin. But I don't think people, in the interest of just getting a coin graded or seeing if the grade is accurate or getting the coin reholdered in a new holder with a higher grade, that's not going to be what customers are going to do. Even honest customers, even honest photographs of the coin, that are straight on vertical, that are in focus, that do have sufficient amount of light but not too much light. Customers are going to lean towards, they're going to tend to better looking photographs rather than not so good looking photographs. And so again, this is going to be something else that's probably, conceivably, I don't want to say probably, but conceivably make the software, make the AI lean towards higher grades. So there's a lot of inherent inconsistency baked into the photograph, or using photographs to grade coins as well. Some final thoughts about using artificial intelligence to grade our coins, and thereby taking some of the power away from the human graders like PCGS and NGC. Most people online in this hobby, based on the comments that I'm reading and the ratings that it's getting, just up and trust computers. They think that, well, if you're going to use computers to grade coins, you're taking the bias out, you're taking the inconsistency out. So software is required to get to a computer to do anything, and this requires programming. We are trusting in computers. Just, I think it's kind of a blind faith, but what we're really trusting in is the software. And if we're trusting in the software, we're trusting in the programmers. If we're trusting in the programmers, why are we trusting in the programmers? Do we know who they are? Do we know what their records are? Do they have a good track record in writing code? Are they experts in the field? From what I understand in recent information, they don't have any experience in the coin marketplace or the coin industry. They're not experts in coins at all. They're writing software with no expertise whatsoever. They're using an expert, which would be Daniel from CoinHELPu. They're using an expert as a consultant for on a consulting basis, but they don't have any expertise in grading coins whatsoever. Even if we assume that the software was perfect, even if we assume that the computer grader was the best grader in the world, it's still based on an image. So it's still being based on a photograph. The other problem with this is going to be that the photograph isn't perfect. Even if it is perfect. Now let's also assume that the photograph is perfect. Even if it's a perfect grader and a perfect photo, it's not going to be able to compare to the real thing. I don't think any single photograph, no matter how good it is, of a coin is ever going to compare to having the coin in hand, which is what we do now. We send the coin to the graders, and they're able to take a really good look at it. They're able to hold the coin in their hand, move the coin around through the light, determine the coin's luster, determine the coin's eye appeal, reveal marks, reveal scratches and scuffs and other imperfections in the surface of the coin that you just will not be able to see on a single flat image. Even though the ideal photograph is going to be straight on. It's not going to be at an angle. It's just going to be straight on. I mean, if you're going to sell a coin online and you're only going to be able to take one picture of the obverse and one picture of the reverse, it should be straight on. However, additional photographs of that coin taken at an angle, taken from various angles, will reveal other imperfections, other scratches that the first photographs did not reveal. And so, through additional photographs and additional angles, I'm able to make an even more accurate determination of what it is I'm buying. So, to take power away from PCGS and NGC, it's very simple to do. Just be more flexible with your pricing. That's going to take the power away from PCGS and NGC by not letting them have such a stranglehold on the pricing of our coins, because that's really the problem here. The problem isn't so much inconsistency in the grading, the problem, or the graders. The problem is the inflexibility of the pricing structure that we have around these grades. So by dealers imposing a certain price, this inflexibility and this strict control over the pricing of the coins, it gives PCGS and NGC the power. So if you want to take power away from them, simply stop giving them power in the marketplace. And this can start with collectors and dealers alike. It doesn't really matter who it starts with, but the more of us who decide to take this power away, and it's a very simple decision. You just decide to do it. You don't have to stop using them. We don't have to, throw the baby out with the bathwater. We don't have to stop using PCGS and NGC completely. We can still keep them, but we keep them under our control. We don't let them have all the control over the marketplace. We take some of that control away from them, and simply more flexibility in prices is the way to do it. It's so simple. I don't think that there's a problem to be solved beyond the pale other than that. I think if we just decide to do that, and there's no reason why we can't, we can start today. Just do it today. Take loose coins, and if you have a gem loose coin, sell it for the gem price. Don't tell yourself that, well, it's not in an NGC holder, it's not in a PCGS holder, so I can't sell it for the top retail. That's what's giving them the power. Stop doing that. A 1881S in an MS65 holder, or if it's a loose raw 1881S that's not in an MS65 holder. If it looks gem, if it looks MS65, sell it for the same price. Sell it for a similar price as if it were in an NGC or a PCGS MS65 holder. Sell that thing for 125, 130 bucks. And you're going to have to sit on it for a while as a dealer. It's not going to sell as fast because people still have this expectation. If when people come into your shop, if you're willing to sacrifice a little bit of earnings now to have so PCGS and NGC have less control over the marketplace later, tell people to buy the coin and not the holder, and explain to them or teach them how that's actually done. And this is how it's actually done. Buying the coin and not the holder means the true meaning of that phrase that's used all over the place from dealers nationwide. The true meaning of that phrase is exactly what I'm saying. It's not letting them have control over the pricing structure over the coins that we buy and sell and collect. There's a lot of averages being baked into this coding. As is the pricing. They're going to base pricing on what is the average pricing on the market. Let's look at eBay sold auctions. Let's look at heritage auctions. Let's look at whatever coins are actually selling for online. But these averages, let's be clear, these averages are all based upon, to a large degree in the marketplace today, PCGS and NGC. What are people buying the PCGS holdered coins for on average? What are people buying the NGC holdered coins for on average? So if their power in the marketplace is a problem and you're basing all of your variables, you're basing all of your data on these very graders. So if they have too much power, then these averages they're too much power averages. And maybe that's not the average that we want to have. All we have to do is stop letting PCGS and NGC have a stranglehold on the marketplace, dictating what the prices are for these coins, and have a lot more flexibility in our pricing structure. Being able to sell much better coins of that type and of that grade for higher prices, and not so good coins of a certain type and of a certain grade for not so high prices. And once we start doing that, we're done. The problem is solved. I don't understand what else we have to solve. It doesn't take any additional capital. It doesn't take any additional time or effort. It doesn't take any additional products or services. We can do this and we can start today, and it's absolutely free, and it's going to be a lot more enjoyable as well. And if whatever the future of PCGS is, that's the future. Whatever the future of NGC is, that's the future. We don't have to appeal to anything. We don't have to prefer anybody. We don't have to give anybody special dibs or competitive advantages. There might be some room for artificial intelligence in all of this, but we should keep hold of our power over the marketplace and over the graders, whether it's AI or not. If there is a new product or service that comes along and it is computer-based and it's computers grading coins, artificial intelligence, whatever you want to call it, we should have power over that as well too. I think we should be easy on ourselves, and I think we should enjoy the hobby as much as we can. And the best way to do that is to free ourselves from any additional cost, free ourselves from any additional time, any additional effort, and any additional control over us, the collectors and the dealers in the hobby. We should empower ourselves more to be able to be more flexible at determining what the values, what the prices of these coins are. I think that the best looking MS64 Morgan dollar that you've ever seen in your life should probably command over an MS65 price. Conversely, I think that the worst MS64 that we've ever seen in our lives should sell for below an MS63 price. So the price, this strict dictation between grade and price is the problem. It's the reason why NGC and PCGS have too much power. If it didn't, if money had nothing to do with it and it was just a grade, then nobody would really care. At one point in the interview, the question was asked, or the reference was made to averages, that Mint State Technologies is using averages in their grading. Daniel at CoinHELPu said, well, you can call it that, but really I call it a baseline. Well, actually, it is an average. You can see these images on Mint State Technologies' website. Every grade for every type of coin is going to have a mean. Now, mean is just a fancy word for average. It's a statistical term, so it has a precise definition, but you can think of a mean as an average, and you won't be incorrect for doing so. So every grade is going to have a mean. There's going to be a normal distribution, a bell-shaped curve around it, and there's going to be values that are 1 standard deviation and 2 standard deviations away from the mean. Again, these are statistical terms with precise definitions. You can look it up. And the way that you are going to, or that they are going to try to remove the inconsistency in the human graders of PCGS and NGC is they are going to take these statistical outliers. These would be coins that are above or below 2 standard deviations from the mean, and they are going to move them into the higher grade or the lower grade. So if you're over 2 standard deviations higher than the mean in an MS63, it's going to move into the MS64 class. Conversely, if you're more than 2 standard deviations below the mean in a 63 grade, you're going to move into the MS62 grade or MS62 class. Is this going to work? Is this going to be a good idea? Well, I mean, we'll see. I think it's a sound, or it's at least a reasonable way to develop the software and get the computers to grade. We'll see how it works. But, you know, there's averages galore, including average. They're also averaging pricing. A comment was also made by Daniel that new technology can create people that don't even exist. Computer technology is becoming so advanced that they can make deep fakes. They can either fake people who do exist and their voices as well by making them, you know, actually appear on video and say things that they've never said. Political parties are going to have a field day with this in the future. I think we're going to see more and more of this. We're going to see more and more deep fakes where Democrats are deep faking Republicans and Republicans are deep faking Democrats, which is another reason to just get rid of these two parties altogether. In fact, you know, if we want to make an improvement and solve some problems in this country, let's get rid of the political parties. Everybody is an individual. That way, when somebody does something wrong, 99% of the other people are going to be against them. And we don't have to have party loyalty and divide everything up on party lines and, you know, have people thinking in herds and group mentality where the Democrats only care about what the Republicans do wrong and the Republicans only care about what the Democrats do wrong. By creating a person that doesn't exist, that doesn't support the using AI grading of coins that are based upon photographs that people send. Because, I mean, if you can fake a person with technology, you can fake a coin too with technology. You can take a coin that doesn't exist, and I can send you photographs of a coin that doesn't exist, and this doesn't even take any elaborate high technology that doesn't quite exist yet. You can do this with just, you know, plain old photo editors that we have today. I can make coins that don't exist and send them off to you to be graded, and you can, you know, give me the grade, which is, you know, a fake coin. It's a fake grade. It's just misusing the technology. So again, even if the technology is perfect, even if let's assume that the software can nail a grade every single time, you know, like any other technology, it can be spoofed. Wish the best for Daniel. I hope he has some success with it. I think he's going to have a lot of success in everything else he's already doing. I don't think he needs to have success in this in order to be generally to be a success in the hobby. But, you know, I wish him the best anyway, and, you know, we'll see what happens. But I see that this technology, this idea, is so fraught with problems that I just don't see it has any chance of taking off. But again, that all depends on the collectors and the people in the marketplace to decide whether or not they think that this is a good idea or not. I have no interest in this at all. I see plenty of pitfalls and plenty of problems with it, and I'm gonna be staying out. You know, but I will be observing from the sidelines. It is a spectator sport for me, this whole AI shift that we're seeing in the marketplace today, and we'll see how it goes. I'm going to be on the bleachers eating my popcorn and just watching everything go by. So we'll see we'll see who's right before the end. I'm not going to bet against myself. We'll see where it all ends up. There's assertions being made like the human graders at NGC and PCGS are fatigued. That, you know, making the comparison that, well, if you're using computers to grade coins, well, the computers are never going to get tired, but the human graders, you know, they're grading so many coins all day long every day that they're just going to get fatigued. Well, you know, there is no evidence that I have whatsoever that there is any problem in the grading companies with fatigue. So I mean, this is just speculation. It's just trying to compare and contrast what he's doing, the new service that he's a part of, with the services that we have already. And it's just, it's inventing problems out of thin air that I don't believe exist. I don't think that there's a fatigue problem. I mean, you're sitting at a desk and you're looking at coins and you're very good at what you do, and it's an extremely easy job. If you are very proficient at it, you can do it very quickly with a very minimal effort. So this whole idea that there's fatigue in these grading companies, I think is frankly absurd. And then, the other thing too is that the grading companies say that, well, they have 3 graders look at every coin. It's given to the initial grader, and then it's verified by a second grader. I think that maybe the third grader looks at it. It sounds like I'm talking about elementary school children. I'm not. The third grader looks at it, and then is it given a final look over by the final inspection as it's being holdered, or maybe right after it's holdered? I can't remember. So there's like either 3, maybe there was 4, certainly at least 3 graders that will look at every coin. And Daniel at CoinHELPu was saying that, well, he doesn't believe it. He thinks that they're lying, basically. So he's saying that the graders at PCGS and NGC are lying about that. Again, no evidence whatsoever to present. He says this without presenting any evidence at all, to make not only inconsistency a problem, but also making dishonesty a problem. And I think it's so unfair to, call anybody a liar, or make the assumption that people are lying by saying that there are this many people looking at grades, verifying. I don't think that they are dishonest about it at all. I think they do this, but it's very quick, and it's almost effortless. It's not fatiguing. It's not hard work. They do this, but they do it very quickly. I think almost instantly. I think it probably takes maybe 1 or 2 or 3 seconds for going downstream when the second grading is done, and the third verification is done, or the fourth verification is done. It's all very fast, and because it is very fast, because these people know what they're doing, they are very good at what they do. And the inconsistency, such that it is a problem, is probably not going to be solved by artificial intelligence. Another thing that was brought up in the interview too was eye appeal. How are you going to be able to teach a machine eye appeal? That's a very good question. You're not. You're not going to be able to do this. It's wow, pie in the sky expectations. I mean, our expectations are sky high to actually think that a computer is going to be able to do that. He countered with the question, well, how did you learn eye appeal? Old Pueblo said that, well, through looking a lot, through looking at a lot of coins. That's probably, how we arrive at what we think is an attractive coin. We do this by, of course, what else but looking at coins. And then went on to say that you can teach a computer eye appeal based on what's appealing to him. And then he uses an example that, well, I like white coins. I like bright white coins with high contrast and with frosty surfaces. And so I'm going to tell the computer that this is beautiful, that this is what I want coins to. But that doesn't mean, that's just one example for one different type of coin. He said that's why I like Morgan dollars. Well, that's just one line of coins, and that isn't necessarily what somebody else thinks has eye appeal. For example, some people like toning, some people don't. And you're not going to be able to bake that into an algorithm that which is going to be inflexible. It's going to have one understanding, a singular understanding of what good eye appeal is. You might be able to tweak around the edges for different lines, different types of coins or whatnot, but you're not going to be able to use an algorithm to determine the subjectivity that's in the marketplace. What is beautiful to me might not be beautiful to you. I might like peripheral toning on my Morgan dollars, and you might not. You might want blast white what they call blast white, which is just, the whole coin is white and bright. And, where I get tired of that. I don't necessarily like that at all. I like to have, preferably if I was going to have a collection of Morgan dollars, I don't think I want to have all of them toned up, but I do want to have a lot of toners that are beautiful to the eye. I like to have peripheral purple toning, blue toning. I like to have some depth in the fields, which might be, there's going to be a reduction in luster. Luster competes with depth and reflectivity. So the more reflectivity you have in the fields, the less luster you're going to have. And conversely, the brighter and the more blazing white luster that you have in the fields, the less depth and reflectivity you're going to have. So this is subjective as well. This could have a correlation or an overlap with eye appeal as well. Which would you rather have more of? Would you rather have a tendency toward mirrors, or would you rather have a tendency towards luster? The best eye appeal to me would probably be where you do have some reflectivity in the fields, you do have some depth of fields, some darkness and some contrast, but you also, while you're having that, you also have a considerable amount or a surprising amount of luster, brightness still in the fields, where you can kind of have the best of both worlds. You have dark fields, you have rim toning, you have white frosty devices, especially the Lady Liberty in the center of the coin, or the eagle on the reverse in the center of the coin. And this would probably be the ideal eye appeal for me. But I'm me, and my eye appeal is different than yours, and yours is different from somebody else's, and we're all going to be different. We all want something different in our coins. And even across different dates of the same type, of the same grade, of a certain type of coin. I like to have different things because different mints at different times created different looks in their coins that I like to try to take advantage of. I want to have more reflectivity of a certain date, of a certain mint, than I do of the same type of a coin with other dates, with other mints. So, eye appeal can also vary based on those variables as well, which again, so this is getting so muddy and it's getting so complicated, and the expectations are so pie sky high to expect computers and computer programming to be able to handle this. I think it's biting off way more that we can chew. I think we already have everything we need to solve the problems that we supposedly have. I don't think we need to invent new problems that don't even exist just by claiming over and over again that they exist without any evidence at all. And I think it's very unfair to call people dishonest when we just don't believe that it could. Well, I believe that it possibly can. I have absolutely no reason to believe that three people aren't looking at each one of these grades. And if you have a really if you have a really bad example, or let's say a bad batch of PCGS and NGC graded coins to come out, and they are inconsistent, you can't believe, show it to us. Show me your best evidence that there's even an inconsistency problem. That's really the one problem that I will accept that is possible, that there might be something to it that we should try to figure out a way to solve. But even that, I think, is sketchy at best, and I think it could be served with a lot more evidence that there is a problem beyond the pale that needs such an elaborate, expensive, time-consuming solution as artificial intelligence is. So those are some of my final thoughts. Thank you very much for watching, and happy holidays to everybody, and keep on collecting, and tell me what those grades are on these Morgan dollars that I'm putting on this video. Thanks. Take care.